Hey everyone, welcome to episode 31 of Beers in the Lot. On this episode, we're singing the praises of Kirill the Thrill, Kirill Kaprizov. We talked about winning and losing cultures in NHL organizations. We're really sorry, Buffalo fans. And we talked about the best post-game eats. Hint, it's tacos. So don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Beers in the Lot. And join us on Discord at beersinthelot.com/Discord to join the conversation over there. All right, it's St. Patrick's Day. Let's get after it.
All right, let's open beers. We're all just enjoying these beers too much to even talk.
Yeah. Pretty good.
That's a lot of blank space you gotta delete.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave an extra second just to make it awkward. But, you know. Just awkward enough.
The person who listens to episode 1 will have no problem. Don't worry.
So, Daniel, as you put the glass to your mouth, what are you drinking tonight?
Yes, just ruined my drink there. I have Trop Drop and Roll Tropical IPA by Stowfire Brewing. Very tasty. What do you have, Aaron?
Drop and Roll. I like that name. I have an Orange Diva Blood Orange Wit Beer, also from Stillfire Brewing. How about you, John?
A hat trick for Stillfire Brewing out of Swanee, Georgia. I am drinking the Midnight Voyage Cuban Coffee Stout, which is really good. Eric, what about you?
So I'm going to be the oddball.
Of course.
I don't have Stillfire Brewing, but I do have Monday Night Brewing, Dust Bunny IPA. Very solid IPA. It says on the side here, fuzzy, hoppy, fresh. Just like a Dust Bunny, I guess.
I think we should point out the can art on all of this is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
On all these Stillfire cans, it's pretty cool.
And both Stillfire and Monday Night are out of the Atlanta area. And all of these beers come courtesy of our friend of the pod, Kevin, who is at Kevin_KJ Cooks and More on Instagram. He does a lot of barbecue stuff on there, a lot of Komodo Joe cooks on there. Really good stuff. He's definitely a fan of Beers in the Lot. He highly recommended these breweries to us, and we just got to thank him for turning us on to these. Check them out.
Absolutely. They're delicious too.
Yeah, mine's really good.
This Blood Orange Wit Beer is they're not paying us to say this. This is good beer. This is real good beer.
Yeah, the Stillfire stuff's definitely good. The Monday Night Brewing stuff is definitely good. This Dust Bunny IPA is just super solid.
So because tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, I got a Guinness glass. So
there you go.
At least put it in a Guinness glass.
There you go.
Yeah, good enough. Yeah,
Guinness is going to be my second beer tonight.
Best thing about this glass is it can hold a pounder.
Oh, nice.
Look at that. One pour.
There you go.
It's great.
You don't have to do that quarter pour later on.
Yeah.
So, guys, we haven't really talked about the NHL in a while. And I think we've all been very excited to watch a rookie out west by the name of Dollar Bill Kirill. Kirill Kaprizov. Kirill the Thrill.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of clips that have gone viral on him. He's super hot. He's Hansel level hot right now.
He's so hot right now.
He's so hot right now.
Yeah, he's exciting to watch.
He's awesome.
Yeah, so my rookie bust for my draft was oh God, I don't even remember who it was. Who was that? Who did I pick?
You picked up Lafreniere.
Lafreniere, yes.
Yes.
And I dropped him like 3 weeks into the season there.
2 weeks overdue.
Because Kirill The Thrill was tearing it up, and he's doing good for me on my fantasy team.
He has single-handedly made me turn on Minnesota Wild games.
For the first time in decades.
Right. Whenever in the existence of the Minnesota Wild franchise, because it was expansion, right? Could you say that there was a player that they had that made you turn on their games?
Well, then, like, remember when Parisi and Sutter, the first year they went there, you turn the games on because you're kind of like, oh, maybe they'll. For Minnesota, years and years and years, they hung around. They were that team that would always make it in the playoffs as like the 7th or 8th. Every now and then they get by someone or push someone to 7th game. And then after that, you just kind of shrug your shoulders. You're like, meh, it's Minnesota. And then you just move on. There was nothing, I wouldn't say special because there's a fan base and they're very passionate, but it wasn't anything to get me or a casual hockey fan to really go, oh, I want to watch that. Because for us, we've talked about it. I want to watch Connor McDavid. I want to watch Colorado. I want to watch other teams in the West. I want to watch Vegas, all those guys. Like, if I'm watching a Western Conference game, those are the teams I want to watch.
You notice now, he didn't say he wanted to watch Edmonton. He wanted to watch Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry. I'll watch Connor McDavid. Yeah.
But
let's not get confused here.
It's true. But if you're turning on that Oilers game, you're turning it on to watch Connor McDavid and maybe Leon Draisaitl. You're not turning it on to watch Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. You're not turning it on to watch I don't even know who else they have. Darnell Nurse or somebody like that. Like you really don't care about the rest of that team except for the top 2 guys. And it's the same thing with the Wild, right? They have Kirill Kaprizov, and he's awesome. So good on his edges, just owns the ice and the puck. And every time he's on the ice, stuff happens. They're generating chances. But who else is on the team? You named Sutter just because he signed that disaster of a contract.
Parisi's still there too. Don't worry.
Right, he's finishing.
They're both there.
He's finishing out his career on that disaster of a contract, and that's the only other player you probably know. If you're just flipping around on the NHL TV looking for games.
What did I say earlier in our group chat? What's the one guy? Greenway.
Oh yeah, Jordan.
Eric and I were like, "What? Jordan Greenway's great."
We're like, "What? You don't know him?"
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I
know him.
World Junior star. Come on,
but he's not on my radar because he's on the Minnesota Wild. Like, he's played almost 200 games with him, and I don't have any familiarity with him because I never see that team. I never watch him. They're just, He was on
oh
yeah, he's a big deal.
I'm pretty sure he was on the last U.S. Olympic team.
Yeah, he was one of the kids. Yeah, he was one of the kids who was in college, went over there, did very well.
And that's probably the most I've seen him.
Well, and so the other thing about one thing about Krill, he is a rookie. No one says this, but think about like the last really good Russian player to come over on an odd rookie, not necessarily contract, but he came much later because Krill, I think, was like drafted in what, like 2015 or 16, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
in the 5th round.
Exactly. Panarin came over late, much later than a normal rookie. He was not fully developed because he definitely got much better after playing in North America, but wouldn't necessarily say late bloomer, but late bloomer by North American terms technically, because he was making money over in Russia playing. I think that the KHL, it makes a lot of Russian players feel very comfortable. So the allure of the NHL, I don't think it is what it used to be.
I think so. I also think there's a development path there too, where like Kirill, we were looking at it today. This is the only reason why I know. I'm not an insider. I don't know the kid, but he spent a lot of time. He spent basically the full 4 years in their junior league, that MHL. Then he made the jump, not straight to the KHL, but I think he was bouncing between like the lower pro league and then the K, and then he ended up full time in the K, and then he ended up over in North America. And I think that speaks to sort of a development path that maybe more Russian players might take or should take or are taking, because it clearly helped him, and it was clearly the right way for him.
Yeah. Well, and two, And two, in Russia, I mean, I know a lot of people throughout the hockey community kind of they have this negative stigma because of the, Red Army teams have passed, but their hockey programs normally are set up similar to like, English Premier League systems where you're in a program at youth and you graduate to junior and then adult. They try to do it the right way. I know there's a big Canadian skills guy, Daniel Botchner, who's amazing at skill development and whatnot. He works with either SKA or CSKA, one of the two teams over there. I can't remember, but he follows, he's the head skill director of their program over there, and they try to do it similar to an English soccer league team.
I think I've talked about it before, but what you're talking about is like the European club sport model where it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter like what age you are or where you are in skill level. They have a place for you to play and you can play there. And then there from that level and that age, you have a path to advance if you want to. And I think that's common amongst, European club sports, whether it's soccer / football or hockey or whatever it is. I think that's pretty common, and it's a different culture.
Oh, absolutely.
So pretty interesting.
But kind of cool. The last two late bloomer Russians, Panarin and Kirill, just come over and play really well right off the bat. I hope he's in Minnesota for a while because like we were saying it, with the relevancy thing. It'd be nice to see Minnesota, especially that fan base, just do really well.
And then the other thing too is I think the kid has a really good head on his shoulders, and that time that he spent developing in Russia juniors and in Russia pros, he's a very mature NHL rookie. And the reason why I bring it up is because we started talking today in Discord about him because Greg Wyshynski over at ESPN published this article, and there was an excerpt that was floating around from the article about Billy Guerin, the GM of the Wild, saying, hey, when we brought in Kaprizov, we went to him and said, hey, do you want us to find a Russian player, a Russian vet to help you kind of find your way in the NHL and find your way in the room and all this? And Kaprizov's answer is only if he will help us win. And that is amazing for,
I like that.
Somebody that's coming in as an NHL rookie.
That's the kind of energy every team wants.
Yeah, man. I like what were we saying today? Like put the C on his sweater now.
You said
come on,
just do it now.
That's
Hey, Jared Spurgeon, I know you got it literally in August and it's been 20 some games. We're going to borrow this for a little while. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
But Minnesota too, they're on that weird like teetering thing. They have like a younger core with him and Spurgeon and Greenway, and then you have like this much older group, with Suter and Parisi and Bukestad's there now and a few other guys, and Koivu left in the offseason, unfortunately, and he went to Columbus and retired 10 games in. I guess he was sick of what's going on there, which is kind of crazy. but
did I see Laine get benched the other night? Again.
Yeah, weird.
Ugh.
It's like Groundhog's Day.
Yeah. Ugh. Jets are doing pretty well without him, though. No, it's fine. Jets they're just humming along. But yeah, I mean, I think Minnesota could be. I mean, it all depends on how it shakes up in the coming years. But it's funny, Eric, you mentioned the development thing where Alex Galchenyuk is now playing in the AHL for the Toronto Marlies. And I saw some like blurbs about it today because Kyle Dubas had his presser. And there were, a lot of people were kind of saying after, like, yeah, Alex Galchenyuk has never played an AHL game. Like to get his confidence under him, to maybe get back to some of the basics. Because the last couple of years, he's kind of lost it. Minnesota was one of his last stops. And you would think if there was a place where they needed a higher end offensive guy who could drive a little bit of the play, because he does have all the talent in the world, clearly doesn't work for whatever reason. And you don't know why. But Kirill, I mean, he definitely did the development that he needed to play at the NHL on a high level. Granted, very small sample size, his rookie year. Hopefully he continues because it's exciting.
It's definitely exciting. And I want to take a quick second here just to continue what has been going on for years now and just say that Ryan Suter's contract is absolutely horrid. $7.5 million AAV. He has 8 points this season and 0 of them are goals. He is wow. that's horrid. I feel bad for Billy G trying to deal with this.
Aaron, are you telling the Minnesota Wild that the 4 of us will go play for them and
absolutely
take the full contract amount, split 4 ways?
Absolutely.
Yes. Sure. I'll fight anybody they want. Anybody.
We could probably get 8 points between the 4 of us.
I think we could.
Yeah.
Likely.
Does anyone know Russian? One of us has to play on Krill's line. One of us has to play with him. We gotta know. What's his thing?
So basically you play on his line, you're like, just put the puck near him. Hopefully I get that assist.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna stand on the blue line, and then as soon as the puck crosses, I'm gonna go to the front of the net and dodge pucks.
Just go
as best I can.
Just go stand in front of the net and play target.
Yeah.
Let him hit you.
I'm gonna plant my stick on the ice, and you just bank them in.
Think about Minnesota, though, right? That is a really big hockey market, or it should be.
It's its own USA Hockey district. Just think about it that way too,
right? And like the high school tournament, probably not this year, but every year fills the NHL arena for that week or whatever.
Minnesota is essentially synonymous with hockey. I mean, it's like that's
the state of hockey,
central,
right?
Yeah, it's hockey central for the United States. It really is. Yeah. So to have an exciting team there, that's great.
Yes, they need it, and if Kaprizov kicks that off, like that's awesome.
Yeah,
and then when I think about Minnesota, then I think about another hockey market that deserves more, and people dunk on all the time.
You talking about those guys who wear blue and yellow?
We're talking about Michael Jordan from the free throw line dunks. Like just these epic dunks.
Buffalo deserves Buffalo deserves way more,
to say the least.
Yeah,
I think
I feel so bad
what you're
for
trying
them.
to say has basically already been, implied.
Yeah, I mean, when we were watching the Penn Sabres the other night, I was like, man, it looks like a pickup game. Like the Pens were nonchalant about everything, and
they were saberized.
I think they put up a four spot on them, right?
Yeah,
but like they didn't even look like they wanted to be there, and the Sabres didn't even look interested. And then Riggs said that was it last night? When
when they were right. Washington was up there.
It looked like a pickup game.
It looked like our game on Sunday night, where the teams were not exactly even.
Not quite.
Okay, on Sunday night they weren't just and it looked like that.
And I think the thing that ticks me off the most about the Buffalo thing is when it happens in any other city, usually at some point, ownership or management goes, "We're burning it down. We're going to figure something out." And it's like they've been doing the same circle of insanity in Buffalo for years and years, where everyone from management to ownership, etc., players, they all say the same thing. They're like, "Man, we really got to put our bootstraps on and go to work." And it's like, well, like, at what point does that happen? It just doesn't.
Yeah, you can say it all you want, but until people start actually doing it.
And, a lot of people, I don't think, remembered the comments that Ryan O'Reilly made when he got traded to St. Louis about it all, where he said, when you get accustomed to losing, you're just stuck in losing. And especially if you don't care about it, nothing will happen. A lot of people in Buffalo were like, "That's a lie, Ryan O'Reilly. You're a jerk." And then he goes and wins a Conn Smythe and a cup with St. Louis, a team that was actually at one point in the year where Buffalo normally occupies, close to the bottom of the standings. And they got rid of their coach, hired Berube, figured it out. jumped up the standings and end up becoming a dominant force in the playoffs. So who knows what's going to happen? Because I remember in the offseason they got Taylor Hall. We were all excited. We're like, oh man, maybe this will be it. Maybe this is what they need. And it's far from what they need. And it almost reminds me of some of the stuff that Edmonton did for years. That Edmonton, you could still say kind of does, because Casey Middlestat's just floundering there. When he left the World Juniors in 1 year, everyone thought he was going to be the next great center and winger in the NHL. Nothing happened, unfortunately.
You got to wonder too, though. Like some clubs kind of have a culture of winning. Like, I hate to pat ourselves on the back here, but the Caps and the Pens are winning teams. They win a lot. And you got to think that the players coming into that team see like the recent records and see the recent performance of the team. And they kind of have this idea. It's like, okay, that's the standard that I have to play to. So you wonder about the guys that are going into Buffalo, even good players like, say, Taylor Hall. And they see this previous record, and then they kind of get a feel of how the team actually competes on the ice. And you got to wonder if they don't get sucked into the same vortex of a culture of losing. It's
a true culture, right? Like,
yeah,
what you're talking about is generational effects, right? So,
and single players, even multiple players coming in, can't really change that.
That's exactly right. It takes years. It takes 5-10 years for that to be affected. Right.
Years of players playing against the grain, even against that grain of a culture of losing. So you got to get the guys like Kaprizov coming in who are like, I want to win and I don't care what the team's doing. You got to get those guys in there, and you have to fill the team up with it in order to change anything at all, because you have to build up that culture of winning, or you have to build up against the culture of losing, I should say.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Minnesota, because they were, unfortunately, because of their playoff streak for a while, they were in the circle of average where they were getting kind of mid to late round, first round picks. I wouldn't say they hit it out of the park on any of those players, but they were trying to do the right things by drafting the best player on the board, et cetera, et cetera. And their AHL team normally does all right, but it doesn't always translate to the NHL. Buffalo has gotten decent picks.
Yeah,
and they have
the Rochester Americans, right? Isn't that their affiliate?
They have the Amherst. They squandered some of those picks and have just done. Look at some of the people that have walked out of Buffalo the last couple of years,
like Brian O'Reilly,
Robin Leonard, who's a totally fine goalie. He had other issues going on while he was in Buffalo, but look what happens when he gets a good support system around him. I'm not saying Buffalo didn't try or do anything, but there's something there in the water, if you will.
I know you say the Pens and the Caps, Aaron. Do you think that's due to kind of the core group of players that are in place in Washington and in Pittsburgh? The players coming in know, what Crosby is expecting, what Ovechkin is expecting out of them.
I think it's also ownership.
Like look at Detroit. Detroit lost that core. Now look at them. Where are they?
Yep.
Yeah.
But do you think I think that's like an ownership, general management down type
I'm not even sure that it is. No. I think it's an X factor. I think it's an intangible. I'm not sure you can put your finger on where that actually lives. I think that's an entire organizational thing.
Yeah.
It's so the strategy has to be we're going to find the leadership, right? And that's hard to, like, you can't scout for that. Like, you can talk to people or whatever. You think you got that, maybe, I don't know how that works, especially when they're.
And sometimes leadership develops over a course of 5 to 6 years. Yeah.
Well, they're scouting these 18 and 19-year-old kids and trying to decide, like, okay, is this going to be our future leader? Is he going to be part of the future core of the team? And then you get lucky. And then you get a Sid Crosby. You get an Alex Ovechkin. You get these type of players that absolutely hate mediocrity. It's not so much that they hate losing, it's that they hate mediocrity. They don't want to just be average. They don't want to be on a 500 club. They don't want to just make the playoffs every year. They want to win championships and win the Stanley Cup. So it's a little bit of it is recognizing that and having a strategy to go find those people. But a lot of it's just luck. And I think that's what you're speaking to, Aaron.
Well,
like
going back to what we just said a few minutes ago, Billy G has to be thinking that he's just struck gold with this kid when he says, as long as that player is going to help us win. Like that is absolutely the attitude that every single club wants from every single player. And to just get that from a 5th round pick, oh my gosh, like they've got to be they got to be over the moon with their luck that they've got Kaprizov. And like you said, you can't scout that. You can't go find guys that are going to do that. They have to fall. They fall in your lap. And then when you get them, you have to capitalize. So that's Minnesota's task right now, is they need to use this time that they have with Kaprizov and make something happen. Change their culture into a culture of winning and break the cycle out of mediocrity.
And hopefully, too, they can do something with the cap problem. We won't need to mention any names or anything, but if they solve that,
he already did.
If they solve, but if they think about it, if they could solve a little bit of that, and then Minnesota, I would imagine. I mean, we're not NHL players or in the NHL media circle. I would imagine that's a very good destination to play. Hockey's great. Weather. You could say something about the weather.
That's what Parise and Suter actually were talking about when they signed the deals there.
Correct.
They wanted to play in Minnesota because
they were from there.
Yeah, they're from there.
They grew up there.
So of course
they were going home and they were getting paid a king's ransom to retire there, basically.
Kings don't even get that ransom.
Right.
What are you talking about?
So on Sunday, everybody was like sort of leaving. There was only a few of us still out there because it was windy. And I don't know how the topic came up, but somebody was like, what's the best, post-game food? A couple guys were like pizza. And I was like, no, it's tacos.
Tacos. Hands down.
Tacos.
Absolutely.
How is this even a conversation? It's tacos. Like, why are we...
Yeah.
Who?
I literally had a game last night and we went to Taco Bell afterwards. Absolutely. Tacos.
Like I love pizza, okay? But it's tacos.
Every time after I play hockey, it's a struggle. It's a battle between, do I take the exit where I know there's a Taco Bell or do I keep going? It is every time. Every time. It's definitely tacos.
If the question is brought up in the car, it's always yes.
Yeah, we're stopping at Taco Bell.
Pizza. I mean, I guess pizza somewhat makes sense because it's
no, man.
It's a one-handed thing.
No.
It's okay.
Fold it. I get it.
Okay.
Pizza's not. Yeah, tacos. Tacos is the upper echelon.
What kind of pizza are you getting at 11 o'clock at night after your game, or 12 o'clock at night?
A sheets pizza.
Sheetza.
Maybe Little Caesars if they're open.
Maybe, hot and ready. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. But Taco Bell drive-through
always open.
They're open till like 3 a.m. most places.
Yeah. Tell more people to think outside the bun. You need Taco Bell.
John got me. I almost spit.
Well, our old adult league team definitely thought outside the bun. But
yes.
I mean, our team name was the Bro Chachos, and our logo was a big sombrero with a huge mustache. Like we had to eat tacos after each game. The Bro Chachos had to eat tacos. And not only that, when pressed, we refuse to share our tacos.
Nope.
We have to tell the story.
No,
with other teams.
Absolutely.
With other teams. Yeah. Other teams come up to us in the lot. Hey, you guys gonna eat all those? There's like 7 party packs on the ground in front of us. Yes, we are.
And there's 2 people. Yeah, we're gonna eat all those.
Yeah.
There's only 2 people left. Yeah, we're gonna eat all those.
Well, one of them was a turncoat. He was on our team.
Oh yeah, that's
initially.
right. And then he went to another team.
Nope. No tacos for you.
No tacos for you. No tacos.
Benedict Arnold.
No tacos for your bunch of flunkies over there.
For you,
we don't
your
care.
Band of flunkies.
Yeah.
But that definitely did happen. They definitely came over and they saw that we still had a lot of party packs. Not just
when
tacos.
He says a lot, he means
we had
a whole lot.
We had whole party packs left? How many is in a party pack? 12?
There was
12.
easily
12.
3 party packs left.
Yeah.
We probably had 36, maybe 45 tacos
I think there was 4 of us.
And there was 4 of us.
I think everybody had,
Yeah.
Are you
Maybe,
gonna
maybe a few more, but most of the team had kind of, filtered off and gone home.
Yeah,
It was
later. Yeah.
It was a tournament weekend, right? So it was like the Friday night game a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
And they came over because they had been out in the parking lot too, and they were hungry, but they had not planned ahead like we did, and asked a teammate to ask his then pregnant wife to go and pick up Taco Bell for us.
Oh my, yes.
That is a detail that we left out.
Yes. His then pregnant wife, he asked her to go pick up Taco Bell to party packs, and she did so thinking it was going to be dinner for their family unit when she brought it to the rink and then realized, oh, this is for the guys.
Yeah. This is for the bros.
This is for the bros. Needless to say, she's a keeper.
Yep.
So
I remember that night because
tacos got
I wasn't even hungry, and then he came over. The guy came over and was like, "Hey, can I get some tacos?" I'm like, "No, I'm hungry." I proceeded to eat 4 after that.
You just grudge ate them. You were so angry.
I spite ate at least 8 tacos that night.
Yeah, I had like 3 before that. I'm like, nope, it's going down.
With the fire sauce, of course.
Oh, fire sauce only.
No question.
Are you out of your mind?
If you eat it plain,
Fire
you're
sauce
not doing
only.
it right. It's got to be fire sauced.
How much fire sauce?
Fire sauce, though? That's the question.
All of it.
Hold out your hands. 2 hands together, make a bowl.
This many.
Well, that's going to do it for episode 31. I don't know about you, but I'm hungry for some tacos. One more big shout out to Kevin from KJ Cooks and More, 3 beers. Thanks so much for your recommendations. You were absolutely correct when you said, I've got some beers you guys will like. We loved them. Thanks again. To Kevin and everyone else, thanks again for listening. If anybody wants to help contribute to the Beers in the Lot Taco Fund, be sure to check us out at beersandlot.com/Patreon. We'll catch you next week. See you.